So again, thanks for jumping on here to just chat with me a little bit today. So about how long ago was it that we started working together or that you enrolled in the program now?
That was the third week of October, I believe.
That sounds accurate. I mean, I could go back and look at the date. That would be what, 9 or 10 months ago, something in
Yeah.
that ballpark. Ever since then, what kind of results have you gotten since you started implementing some of the things in the program?
Since then, I would say for me, it was really the 6 month mark that I really started to notice a lot of more, significant changes. I still got a long way to go, but I have noticed some noticeable result. And not just me, but other people that I know, especially people that I haven't seen in a while, will be like, hey, you look great. Whatever you've been doing, keep doing it. So, yeah, I have noticed definitely a lot more results. And then a lot more in what I can lift at the gym. Before, like, I was starting off at like 10-pound dumbbells. Now I can do like 45s, just like results in that area as well. Because my goal was to gain weight, and I
Mhm.
gained, I would say, 30 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, that's great. And I remember for a while, I was pretty rigorously keeping track of your workouts and stuff and seeing how you did. And there was a period where, growth was slow and steady. Nothing wrong with that, obviously.
Right.
But, the overall trend is you've made progress, you've gained weight, you've got stronger in the gym, and all that's good. Some people may be like, oh, well, that was like almost a year ago as of this recording. I mean, you're still doing it, so you've definitely nailed the consistency part.
I was just gonna say you made it very tailorable to my schedule. So, yeah, like you said, you don't have to be in the gym 5 days a week to get results. 2 or 3 days, is enough to get there. And that had been the biggest thing for me, was something I can commit to, that I can stay consistent with.
Yeah, awesome. And I do remember when it had been probably a couple months since we hopped on a call, and then we went and hopped on a call, and I saw your face, and I was
Right.
like, holy cow, like he's definitely packed on a little bit of weight, and he looks good. I remember when we hopped on that call, and it'd been a little bit since we followed up, but yeah, it's always cool to see that. So, do you happen to remember about how much you weighed before and how much you weighed after? I mean, you already told us you
Yeah.
gained about 30 pounds, but
It was, I want to say I was like 134 when I started this. And I was like consistently in the 130s. It didn't matter what I did. But once I got on the program, the weight increased steady and started picking up. And then I went to 168. And then I did like a bit of, like, not quite a cut, but I did notice because I kind of did a dirty bulk. So I had noticed some, fat in my midsection, and I did like a little bit of a cut. Now I got that all down and good. And so now I'm like 162 or something like that.
nice,
Yeah,
man.
162.4. That was the last time I had it weighed, which was this morning.
Yeah, that's solid progress for sure. And I mean, I think that's a pretty realistic time period to expect something like that, especially building muscle. I think building muscle takes longer than people usually anticipate. I mean,
Right.
it can, in some instances, it can take up to a year, if not a couple years, depending on, in a case of like a dirty bulk or something, you can do it pretty quickly, but that seems like a pretty reasonable rate of in terms of like what's realistic to expect. In what ways did the program help you accomplish this? Can you give some insight into both the fitness and the nutrition in terms of how it helped you reach that goal?
For me, like being inexperienced, the first question I had was, where do I start? What workouts do I do? How often should I do them? It gave me structure. So it gave me a foundation to work with. And because of that, I didn't have to wonder what workouts I was going to do. I already had it, laid out for me. And then with the whole nutrition thing, keeping track of, especially like, I should do better on this now, but especially when I started off, counting calories was very important because I had thought I was eating enough, but I probably wasn't. So keeping track of that really helped me get to where I wanted to be. And then also just like watching what I eat and focusing on macros and incorporating like more protein into my diet was something that I had then been more, brought more attention to. So, yeah, that, that really, it really helped lay a structure especially for someone like myself that was inexperienced. It gave a good structure for that.
Yeah, and I remember at the time too, when you first signed on, you were telling me about how busy and hectic your schedule
Yeah, yeah.
was. And,
I can keep
it's definitely something that I had to take into consideration. But busy people usually end up being my favorite people to work with because I'm busy myself. And I'm like, you can work out very similar to me and, you'll get great results. You just got to know what to focus on and how to do it. And take a proper strategy to it. What do you think has been the most impactful thing that you've learned on the program?
I would say staying consistent even when you don't feel like it, because there had been many days that I would get off work and I would be like, man, I'm so tired. I don't want to work out tonight or whatever. And just pushing myself to do it, even though at the time, like especially when I was new, I didn't see any results at first in the mirror, and doing it over and over and over again, building that discipline, that consistency. At 9 months, I can look back and I can definitely see progress. Other people can see progress, and I just feel better, and I'm able to do more. And that wouldn't have happened had I just thrown in the towel and said, "This is too much for me." I'm glad I had that accountability, because if I was by myself, it would probably be more easier for me to fizzle out.
Yeah, man, I definitely think the consistency out of everything, that is what I want the most for people is to help them design some kind of routine that they can stick to consistently for weeks, months, and even years, and ultimately the rest of their life.
Right.
I mean, I've been eating and training and following some kind of routine for over 6.5 years now. So it really does boil down to the consistency being the most important thing. And that it doesn't always look cookie cutter for everyone. Some people can get away with going to the gym a little bit more. Some people only have time to work out 2 times a week. You just gotta tailor your strategy to your lifestyle, and that's really where you see that success. So I have one more question for you. Who would you recommend the program to, and who would you not recommend the program to? I think that's a more interesting question.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I have a friend that I was actually talking to earlier this week about this, and he's out of shape and he's busy, and he's trying to say he doesn't have time to work out. And I was actually telling him about you and saying, you need somebody that's going to be that accountability for you, so it's going to help you be consistent. I'd say really for people that have a hard time being consistent, don't have a roadmap of where their fitness goals is. A beginner, don't really know anything. Yeah, I'd say you're very good for that type of a person, because it paves a foundation for them so they know what to work with. Probably somebody, that I wouldn't recommend you to. Probably be somebody that has already had experience in fitness, already knows how to keep a routine, already knows what they're doing. Somebody that can sustain themselves and knows it. I would say, they'd be good on their own. But for most of us, especially I don't really know anybody that's new that has a routine and is aware of this stuff. I'd recommend, especially for busy people and new people.
It's funny, when I first became a personal trainer, I always envisioned myself working with people who were already really into fitness and helping them like optimize their routines. But I mean, the reality is the people who need that kind of coaching are people who are new to it, or maybe they've struggled with the consistency part of it. Those are really the people that could benefit more from coaching, not so much the people that are already in the gym, already following some kind of consistent routine. I mean, even still to this day, after like 6.5 years, I'm still working on like optimization things, but getting the consistency down, I would say that really is who I aim to try to help out the most. I'm really glad that you got a lot out of the program and it's helped you a lot, and that you're still, after like what, 9, 10 months, you're
Yeah,
still hitting
yeah,
the gym and stuff.
goals are long term, because especially once you get to the 6 month mark, you're not going to quit. There's positives and negatives to once you get into working out, you realize results just don't come all of a sudden. But the positive thing is it doesn't, but you get a little bit each month. And, I don't think you're ever going to get to a plateau where where you want to be, but that's a good thing, because that keeps you motivated to keep working out, So once you get to the 6 month mark, you're going to want to keep working out. You're going to want to keep continuing. And for me, my goals are long term. Like I still see myself working out in another 9 months from now and then in another 9 months and so on. So yeah, it's not instant results, but really anything that's good, you have to put in the time and effort for, and you don't see it immediately.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I think it can kind of feel like a lot of work up front, but once you get used to it, that really is the key. And that's with anything. I mean, when someone
Right.
first starts learning to drive, they're not as comfortable behind the wheel as they are after several years of doing it. It's just like that with fitness and nutrition. Once you find
And the
that,
results compound. I feel
yeah,
personally, I feel like
yep.
ever since 6 months, like I feel like each month I notice even more results each month and each month. Whereas before it was like very slow. Like I feel like for me, some people it's different. Some people they see results more faster. For me, it was like at 6 months and after each month, like compounded on top of each other as far as results. And I know, like I definitely know I've had results because people I know see it, and just the fact in and of itself that I can bench press a lot more than I could have when I started, that I can lift a lot more. So I mean that's facts in and of itself that I have progress.
That's one of the best indicators that you have built muscle and gotten stronger as, your lifts go up. And the only way to know that is if you track that. I mean, I always say what gets measured gets managed. That's true for your workouts and your nutrition. That's pretty much all I have. Thanks for hopping on here with me to just chat about the program a little. Glad I was able to help you out and you got a lot out of it. So, yeah.